Hello, everybody. Let's just turn the music down a little bit. As you noticed, we have some new screens to look at. I worked hard on these from like last night for about 3 or 4 hours last night after the show, and a little bit before the show, and then all day today I've been working on getting these new. I guess it would. It would help if I turned on the mic, wouldn't it? Yes, it would.
It would indeed.
And
I was like, did I miss something?
And I'm the one that gave the instructions on how to do this shit. You know, like, holy crap. Yeah.
Cranky, this is nice.
Yes, I've I gotta thank Mower for this, because I wasn't very happy with the old screens. By the way, I am the Cranky Canuck. As you can tell, I'm in the center spot here, and on my left is the Hasselhoff. Thank you, dear. And on my right is Rod D, which, by the way,
good morning,
dude. You know, you guys, I love Twitch, and I love the people on Twitch, and I love the people that are becoming part of the Cranky Canuck community. Rod D lives in Sweden.
Denmark.
Right? Denmark. Sorry. I will get that right. Yes. And right now it's what, 6 o'clock in the morning where you are?
Yeah, 6:11.
Yeah. So this dude, he gets up at the crack of fucking dawn to come and help do this show. So Ra, thank you very much, my man. I greatly appreciate it.
Don't forget getting late to bed because streaming.
Yes.
So about 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
You're a fucking trooper, man.
Yeah. But like I said,
so if I do this during the show, I mean, just kick me or something.
I'll ping you on Skype. How's that?
Sounds good.
But like I was saying, I want to thank Private Moore for the impetus, because I wasn't really happy with the screens that I've had before. They weren't bad. They got progressively better, but they didn't sit right. And then Private Moore mentioned to me a couple of other so-called talk shows that happen on Twitch, and I got to see some of those stuff on YouTube, and I was struck by how nice a good, simple background is. And this way we've got, some bigger images of our co-hosts, and so it looks nice. So thank you, Private Mower, for doing that. I greatly appreciate it. Now, before we get started on our discussions, as geeks, there are two shows right now that are probably prime on our attention list, and that would have to be the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Game of Thrones. And we have two trailers, and hopefully they will go back to back. And here we go with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then Game of Thrones. These are new today.
Hope you're feeling better this morning, Mr. Bakshi, because you have a date with the U.S. government. Smile. There he is, General.
Neil Bakshi, man tied to the Navy wedding massacre, the UN attack, and who tried to kill you, Coulson.
Well, dressed up as you, sir.
Safe to say I'm not a fan.
Perfect. I'll trade him to you to add to your collection. All I ask is your assistance in handling
remaining Hydra forces. I understand the idea, Coulson, and in this case, I'm not against it.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead. You agree with the rest of the team. Your concerns were out in the open.
More that we contacted the U.S. government.
I think Talbot's on the level.
I'm not worried about Talbot. But around him, there are security leaks everywhere. And with Whitehall dead, Bakshi may be even more valuable.
I'm well aware, but without Talbot in our corner...
I know. Without him, we'll never have a chance.
And yeah, I'm pissed, Red Mage. So that is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer coming on March the 3rd. And no, come on now. There we go.
I don't want anyone following me. I'm not a leader. All I ever wanted was to fight for a lord I believed in. The good lords are dead and the rest are monsters.
Well, I gotta admit, that sucked. That sucked as an intro trailer.
Peggy 18.
Shut up. Like, really? What the fuck was that for a trailer?
They just released, like, they've been out, I think, but they released their bloopers.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the other day, and those were amazing. But this kind of surprised me.
Yeah,
I've never watched Shield. I'm a Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both, and I'm waiting with quiet anticipation for the return of Agents of Shield. I think the second half of the season is just going to be awesome. But Game of Thrones, like, what the fuck was that for a trailer? Like, really?
What were you thinking?
God, what do you like?
So much potential to put some epic, like, fucking shit in there, and it's just. I mean, she's cool. I like her, but
yeah. So what did you like, Raw? I don't imagine you get to see Game of Thrones on launch when the season starts, or Agents of Shield. Well, not legitimately, anyway.
Only if I download it legally. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Kaffa.
So, should you ever do that? Are you looking forward to doing that?
I will probably wait until they're on Netflix.
Yeah. There's a bad case of coughing going around here.
Yeah, I think I need some lemonade here.
Yeah. Now, we were given some really bad news today. Anybody that is a fan of Star Trek and that whole generation of sci-fi shows, sad news today. Leonard Nimoy passed away at the age of 83. He will be missed, no doubt about it, because there's nobody like Spock, man. There's just nobody like Spock. But yeah,
condolences.
Yes, like I said, he will be missed. Now, Raw, one of the reasons why I was kind of hoping you would come on tonight is you had a great opportunity today on your stream, and if anybody didn't see it, now I'm a big fan of the game Folktales, and it's in early access right now. But you had a chance to preview the next release of the, I guess, the beta or alpha.
It's in early access, and I've been following the game for the past 1.5 years, and I've been frequently speaking with the game developers and giving them feedback, and they've made some adjustments to the game according to some of my feedback as well, which is pretty cool because they listen to the community a lot. I mean, and if their fans say this isn't right, this is completely wrong, they will act accordingly. Of course, they won't just blindly do whatever the fans say because they have a plan for the game as well. But if it makes sense, they will do the adjustments. And so today I decided, my stream was going to be about Banished and Folktale because those two games go really, really great together. So I started out, my initial plan was to play Banished and for 2 hours and then go to Folktale. But, I tweet out as I usually do, and apparently one of the game devs from Folktale saw that I tweeted out that I was going to play Folktale. So he stopped by my my Twitch chat, and he was like, "Hey, Roddy, how are you doing?" I was like, "Fudge, what are you doing here, dude?" I was like, "Well, I just wanted to stop by and see the stream from Folktale." I was like, "But man, that's not starting in like 2 hours from now." And he was like, "Well, how about, because we're releasing a patch tomorrow, how about I give you special access to the new patch that's coming out tomorrow? So you can play the new patch now already, even though it's not coming out until 19 hours from now." Like, okay. So how do we do this? And he's like, "You know what? I'm just going to release the patch with a new closed password on Steam, so that you're the only one that can download it. I was like, okay. So I got to download the new patch for Folktale, and I was playing it, and it's freaking awesome. I mean,
I was there when you were trying to get it installed and running. You guys had a few problems, but like he hopped in TeamSpeak. He was talking with you about the game, and you guys had a really... And, like, I gotta say, thanks to you, like, I put a feeler out, because I'm actually going to try and get Simon, who was the dev you were talking to, on the interview for a sit-down and talking about the game and the background and how, all that kinds of stuff. But he was really forthcoming about the game, and, like, what was your reaction to that kind of involvement from him?
To be honest, I wasn't surprised, because that's what they've been all about since the beginning. They have taken a giant beating on the reviews on Steam because they made some wrong decisions in the beginning of the development of the game. But sadly, they're still suffering from that, even though they have making amends and they have fixed the problems that there were. And the reviews that they have on Steam right now is not even close to being true anymore. I mean, they've made a brand new game compared to what it was in the beginning, and they're very much in line in what they promised. But I wasn't surprised, because my impression of how these guys work and what they do is that they're very much into the community. But of course, I was really freaking surprised that he would give me access to the new patch, a day before they actually release it. And, but he's good. They have a programmer, his Twitch name is Halfvoxel. He's always in the chat when they are doing their own streams. And he's also very forthcoming. I told him that I'm playing this dev created map, the hardest one, which is in the tundra, and I'm having a problem because the creatures are not spawning any loot when I kill them. And the programmer was like, yeah, we know about that. That's because we haven't really added the loot spawn to them yet. But you know what? If you go into this file in the files of the game and you edit these strings, very easy coding, you can just decide what loot you want them to drop. It's like, are you kidding me? So no, you just go in and you add these pieces of line, and you decide if you want them to drop it at 50% or 100%, or how many times you want them to drop and what to drop. And at the top of the list, there's an entire list of items you can have these creatures to drop. It's like, dude, that game is so open. So yeah, I could go in the game right now and decide, I'm really tired of these creatures when I kill them, the goblins, for example. When I kill these guys, they drop swords. I'm so tired of them dropping swords. I could go in the JSON files, basic text files, anyone could do it. Just edit it, and they would no longer drop this, and they will drop something else instead. Wow. I mean, talk about having a open source game. Yeah. Where you can just, edit it to your liking.
Now I know that you like your city builders house. Mm-hmm. Have you? Oh, yeah. Have you seen Folktale yet?
I have seen Roddy stream it a little bit, and it's absolutely stunning.
It is.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest draw. Although, I got into the landmark thing for a while, and I'm no landmark player. I think I've said that before. That's actually how I followed and heard of Roddy. He kind of gave a mini tutorial on someone else's stream, and I was just like, holy shit, what you can do with this game, which is... I still couldn't do it, but that doesn't matter. It was still interesting. I was there when he introduced that academy idea. I was on that plot. We all kind of teleported there and kind of listened to the whole thing. That was really cool, but it reminds me of that game a little bit, and I'm not good at that sort of thing.
Understand, this is still very early access. If you get the game now, it's
sandbox.
It's sandbox. It's very, very. It's limited, but it's not limited.
I would say for an early alpha access.
Early alpha access, yes. Make that point very clear.
You get a lot of gameplay.
Yes.
I mean, and the reason why I get a lot of gameplay is because there's 4 dev-created maps right now that you can play. You can kill the monsters. There's not any, quests or anything, but you can play the map and you can fight them just like you would fight any other opponent in a Command and Conquer map, for example. But here's where it becomes funny. In the game, they have an integrated map creator.
Yep.
So if you get bored of the maps, you just create your own maps, or you go to the forums and you download a long list of user-created maps. You just add them into the game and you play the maps that other people have created. So you have infinite content for the game right now. I mean, I've played the game many hours.
Yeah, I love the game. And what is it? It's $20 early access?
$24.99.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I was lucky enough that actually you gifted it to me early on.
Yep. And
I've been playing it off and on now since that point, and I love it. It's a gorgeous game to play. They've done a hell of a good job on the graphics, and it's a lot of fun. And they are constantly updating this thing with fixes, new content, new abilities. Like in this newest patch, they added a whole bunch of new stuff, didn't they? Or was it just rebalancing on general?
It was mainly rebalancing, fixing. They have made a brand new UI, brand new menu. You can now, I'm actually not sure if that was in the last patch or this one, but you can now ask the settlers or the peasants to go directly and chop down resources, which you couldn't do before. And that adds, a whole new level to the game. What they categorize the game as, I think that's important to bring across as well, is that it's a RPG building game.
Yep.
Because they are going to implement heroes as well. The first hero that's coming into the game is going to be called Sir Gregory. And they have this very British humor to the game as well. I mean, they have goblins that speak with an East London accent. Just go, all right, mate. It's just funny as hell. But I'm looking forward to seeing all the heroes that they're going to put into the game.
I'm just pulling up their Twitch channel so I can put the link in chat for folks. Hang on one second here. Copy. There is their Twitch channel, folks, and they're also on Twitter as @GamesFoundry. Check them out. If you like this type of game, I am pretty sure you will like what Fable Tales is bringing to the table. Folktale.
Honestly, too, you could always check out, like, Roddy, you're streaming it all the time, and you seem fairly knowledgeable. I'd say just go watch somebody play it, because it's one of the best ways to figure out what a game's all about. There you go.
Yeah.
Roddy gets the in on it. Might as well get up and watch him.
So, Rod, throw your Twitch channel in the chat as well, dude. Now, on gorgeous graphics, I gotta shift now to a little more complete offering. I was lucky enough to get my hands on a copy of Homeworld, the remastered edition that just launched the other day.
Nice.
And I gotta tell you, I could sit at the opening cutscene and rewatch that for hours. It was fucking gorgeous. I mean, I was just my jaw dropped at how gorgeous this thing was. I only because I was trying to get a whole bunch of work done at the same time, but I had to jump in for at least 5 or 10 minutes and take a look at this just to see if to me it lived up to the hype. And yeah, it does. It's an incredible game. It's an incredibly beautiful looking game, and yeah, if graphics are important to you and you like space sims, this is one of the games that should go to the top of your list.
All right, wait a minute.
Immediately.
Wait, I missed it because I was trying to get Roddy's link to work, and I just linked it again because he was blocked. What game? What game are we talking about?
Homeworld, the Homeworld remastered.
Oh. Sorry. All right. Sorry.
But
go
yeah,
ahead.
no, it's okay. Have you seen it at all, Roddy? Like, I know I don't think you have it, do you?
No, I do not. I've seen an advertisement for it being remastered, but I didn't click it.
I know Total Biscuit has done a few streams of it, and he's impressed as hell. I know Buana. No, he's doing Elite. I'm trying to remember who else is doing Homeworld. I think it's just Total Biscuit right now. I'm sure there are others, but he's the one that comes to mind because I watched his stream for a good solid 2 hours when he was streaming it. And it looked good then, but now that it's in my paws, it looks even fucking better. So yeah, definitely put that one at the top of your list, folks, as a must-have. Just out of curiosity, is the music too loud in chat? Let me know. I'll lower it down a little bit. Now, getting on to a little bit of newsy type shit. Fable Legends. You know, the Peter Molyneux series that got sold to Microsoft, Lionsgate Studios, that sort of thing. Or Lion's Head, whatever the hell their gaming shop is called. It's going free to play. And they're saying it's not a bad thing, but here's how things will work. Any PC or Xbox One player will be able to download the game for free. There will be a whole story's worth of quests at launch, with more being released episodic style. Oh, that's got to be the new thing, right? Episodic content?
Yeah.
Right? And continuous updates. There will be no paywalls, no limited game time, no horrible energy bars, no gems, or whatever that takes to recharge. There will be 4 heroes available to play at any one time. This is where it gets interesting. The free one, alright? You have 4 heroes that are only available in rotation. Okay? They will rotate every 2 weeks. Then if you want to keep playing a specific one of those heroes, you can pay to unlock them permanently. So basically, if you've got character A, you're playing 1 2 week period. When it comes to the end, their scores, their life, their whatever is saved, and you go on to character 2, and you go through. Then when that 2 week period is done, you go on to character 3, and then to character 4, right? But if you like one of those characters, let's say you like character 2 and you're having a lot of fun with it, you can then pay to unlock it. Now, I gotta admit, that's an interesting way to do this. But two questions. One, what do you think of that idea as a way for an income generator for a game? Rob, what do you think about that idea?
Really don't like it, to be honest, because I mean it's basically, or do I? I mean, you get to play the game for free, and you know, when you find the content that you like, you can basically decide, you know, this is the content I want to get.
But the thing is, you don't lose any of that gameplay from those other characters. So when the cycle starts around again, you go back into character 1 with all your stuff there from that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay? And then when you go into character 2, you've got all that character's stuff right there. right? So you don't lose anything. It's just it cycles through 4 heroes.
You get a little variety too.
Yeah.
It doesn't get as stale.
But if you want it to get stale, and you want to play, play one character or two, or you want to be able to play 2 characters, you just pay to unlock them. Now, personally, I think
Well, that sounds good.
it sounds like a good idea. I'm kind of curious what chat thinks about it. But while they, thank you, Cody Joe, for those nice words. I really do. The other question I have is, this is getting episodic content. You've got Telltale Games with episodic content. You've got the last of another one of those story type games with episodic content. This seems to be becoming a popular trend. What do you think of this idea of basically, it's not like it's a DLC, but you still got to pay for that new episode, unless you buy the pack of, let's say, 5 or 6 episodes all at once, and then you get them as they get released. It's like getting like a season pass sort of thing, right?
I think it's probably a little bit too early to give a final verdict, because do they add extra things you have to pay for? Is there limitations? I mean, it could easily be turned around to them making it so that, yes, you can have these 4 characters, but in a limited version. So to get the full character, you would have to unlock the character.
Yeah, okay.
I could easily see it going down the drain.
Yeah, okay, but nothing that they've said about the character unlock or the character locked suggests that. But
Okay.
what my question is episodic content of game content, right? Like you've got your, like, okay, let's take for example, the Telltale Tales Walking Dead series. You've got episode 1. You spent $15. That gives you the starting game. Episode 2 comes out. They want $5 for episode 2.
Oh, really?
Right?
So are all Telltale games like that? Because
Yes.
I own a couple, but I've never gotten far enough to have to buy
Yeah.
the next episode.
Each episode is going to cost you money. It's not free unless
Oh, that kind of sucks.
unless you buy the pack. Like you can buy an episode pack of, let's say, 5 or 6 episodes. So when they're released, you'll automatically get them. But if you only want to buy the game with basically episode 1, which is a starting point, right, and play it through, you can play it through.
Oh, derp.
But they will continue the story that will. There's an interesting hook here with episode 2, and that'll cost you $5. The starting game costs you $25. Episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, each will cost you $5, right? The interesting thing is that any decision trees you create in, let's say, episode 1 carry over and will affect episode 2, right? Am I making that understandable?
Well, Private Mower just said, wait, hold up, Telltale doesn't do that. So I'm kind of waiting for him to explain what he means by that. And do other companies tend to, like, I know this is becoming a trend, but are there any other companies besides Telltale? I have to say that slowly so I can say it properly. Do any other companies actually go through this model as thoroughly as Telltale does? Know of?
I know one, which is, let me just pull, Life is Strange. Okay, by Don't Games or Don't Code. I can't remember the company. Let me see if this shows up here. No, it doesn't say. But yeah, they do, and I know several, if I'm not mistaken, several major titles are also looking at this as a possible way to expand their game. Right? So my question is, what's your thought on this as a gamer, basically, if you want to be able to continue your story of the game, you got to pay for each episode as it comes out.
I feel like it's bullshit. I just want to play. I just want to pay a price for a game and then play it. I mean, if
well, you can, right? You technically you can, but
if a game stops me in the middle of gameplay asking me to pay money, I would delete that game instantly.
Yeah, you know they'll leave you with a cliffhanger.
If I sit in the middle of a game and it suddenly says, "To continue, please put in 5 cents," I would just, I'm not gonna continue. You can bite my ass. I mean, no, I will not do that. I will buy a game, pay the initial $20, $30, $40, $50, depending on how big the game is, and then I'll play the game. Or it will be a free-to-play game that I really enjoy, and then I'll live with all the microtransactions and all the stuff they try to get me to buy, which I don't have to, but I can if I want to. But no, playing a game like let's take Folktale, just to bring that up again. I mean, all right, so I just completed campaign 1. To play campaign 2, please pay $10. I'm like, no. Why would I mean? I don't like the idea.
Yeah. Red Mage says in chat, the Telltale game episodes seem to end very well, but enough of a cliffhanger to make you want the next one when it comes out.
Of course.
Wait,
Yeah,
but
$5 an episode. So episode 2 is $5. Episode 3 is $5. Episode 4 is $5. Or you can buy the complete 5 or 6 episode pack for, let's say $20 or $30, which saves you a few bucks, but you're still paying per episode. Now, I get why you might not like it, but I also find it a rather interesting way to... we have DLCs we pay for, right? We have expansion packs that we pay for. Is an episode just not another way of doing a DLC or an expansion? Or is it the fact that they leave you on a cliffhanger of episode 1 the piss off?
With the DLC, I can decide to add extra content. I mean, we need to pull out the picture where you see like the painting of Mona Lisa. Have you seen that one?
No. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. With wait a minute.
yes, I talked about this the other day. Wait, you're talking about DLC?
Yeah.
And it was like back in like 1990 or 2000
Yes,
or whatever.
and how
then
it looks
showed
now.
how it breaks up. Yes, because we were talking about this when we were discussing this similar subject.
I kind of feel like this is the same. I mean, they have a complete game, and they sell it off to you in pieces. So you can buy the full game piece by piece. The same thing, they kind of like, make a full game and they rip chunks out of it to say, okay, this is going to be the DLCs. I don't give sorry for everybody who would have ears that can't handle it. I don't give a fucking shit about what the game developers do, as long as they complete a game as they intend to do, as they promise to complete that game, and then they can start doing DLCs and all that stuff, and I can buy extra content to my game. Initially, when DLCs was made, it was additional content to a game. You could get something that would change your gameplay, that would change the looks of the game. But it's come to a point now where I think it's gotten too far.
Okay, there seems to be a little bit of confusion here as far as like with The Walking Dead. Walking Dead Season 1 is $27.99 in Canadian. Season 2 is $27.99. So their model's a little different, but it's still episodic. Right? Whereas the other one I was referring to, you can buy the base game. I think it's for $15 or $20, right? Life is Strange, and that gives you basically the initial game. If you want, you can buy a 5 or 6 episode season pass for, I think it's included in the game or what, for an additional X amount of dollars. Or you can buy each episode as it comes out. So Walking Dead is still, I think, within that framework where...
I love the TV show, but that is why I do not play the game.
So this is basically a big no-no then.
Yeah.
For me, it is. Yeah.
I'm not adverse to the idea. Where I start to worry, and this is what I'm seeing with Life is Strange, is that they're chopping it up too finely because we don't know how big episode 2 will be. We don't know how big episode 3 will be. Right? And we don't know exactly the model, like with Fable, that they're going to do with their episodic content. Is it going to be an additional... there's still a lot of gray areas around, because it is a new way to sell your game. But money aside, do you like the idea that you can buy or you can get your game in episodes, right? That are new episodes are affected by your decisions in previous episodes. Does that... What do you think of that idea as far as the gameplay is concerned? Haas?
I love it. I like the idea that you can't go back. Like, you have to pick a path, and you kind of... Well, you technically can go back because you can resave. But, I mean, if you aren't going to hack through it, the fact that you've got one... Like, you're making your choices, you're living with them. It's like real fucking life. You can't just start over... This is what you've got. This is what you've chosen. Now work with it. I think that's cool. So.
What about you, Raw?
I love the idea that you can't go back, and the choices you make has consequences. I mean, I love that in any game. But in terms of this new business model, I'm just very skeptic.
I'm just trying to make a little bit of an adjustment on the fly here, because Haas seems to like to sit off to the side. There
I do. But I go on both sides. I've got serious dents on this nice chair because I'm an elbow leaner.
Yeah, so am I.
Sorry.
No problem. Mortal Kombat is I guess probably one of the more popular fighting games. Is that a pretty good assessment?
I think that's a safe assessment to make, yes.
And Mortal Kombat 10 is coming out, and everybody seems to be kind of excited about it. We now have a trailer of the story. It's the official Mortal Kombat 10 storyline. So we will drop that in there and let you guys have a look at it.
Takahashi Takeda, Jacqueline Briggs, Kung Jin, you are not welcome here.
Sub-Zero, let's talk.
Cassandra, you lead this group, but they do not follow. Until you function as one, you will fall short.
Our village was the epicenter of a fierce battle. A talisman with a center jewel. The Emperor grows desperate, and those caught in the middle pay the price.
If this talisman is what I suspect it to be, we may all pay a price.
Kano talked.
You know Melina's location.
And a whole rebel army.
She has the amulet, but she's got a lot of protection.
You took my throne. Now you wish to steal my means of reclaiming it.
Okay, guys, standard diamond formation. Takeda, you're on point. Jackie, bring up the rear.
What makes you our leader? What is that?
Don't know about you guys, but I'm living the dream.
Earthrealm's fate lies with you.
Okay,
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I had a couple things to say on the idea of Jackie bring up the rear. Raw D, I want to know why you didn't let me mount you yet. I thought we were friends. We were mount your friends.
So sorry.
And I have not mounted you yet.
That is true. That is true.
On a second note,
that comment in the game trailer though.
I know.
Jackie, bring up the rear.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, so maybe I don't remember very, very well, but did Mortal Kombat always have like this really epic storyline? I always just thought it was just this fucking just kick somebody's ass at the end. Then I missed a huge chunk of this. Like huge. Epically huge. Because that seemed pretty intense.
What did you think of what you saw, Roddy?
Felt a little bit cheesy. I liked the Jackie bring up the rear comment. That was pretty good. I have not been playing Mortal Kombat that much. In terms of that type of fighting game, I'm probably more into Tekken, to be honest.
See, and I'm a Soul Calibur player. I know that's later, but...
Now, I know there's been a lot of press about how gory and violent Mortal Kombat 10 is. Like, it's over the top violent and gory in some places. Does that bother you at all, or is that not at all?
No. I mean, I've seen some early access videos where some guests they invited tried it out. I mean, you can pull people up and you can open them up and see all the intestines just falling out of people, and you can split them in half, and you could do all kinds of really, really nasty stuff in the game.
That's so cool, though.
I mean, it's good graphics and it's good gameplay. It's violent as hell, but I mean, that's the way the games are.
Yeah, but the thing is, isn't that in the spirit of like even the game title, Mortal Kombat? Like it's like death in the end. Like you're gonna die, and you're gonna die in the most horrible of ways. So why not actually show it? Exactly. Like, I mean, it's just the way the game is. I completely approve. It's all right. And all the guys that talk about games being bad for how people react in real life and stuff like that, bullshit. I mean, if people want to see what a human looks like on the inside, buy Mortal Kombat. There's no getting around the fact that Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Unity had a major fucking troubled launch and still is suffering. To the point, what was it? One streamer was actually, he was paid to stream it and to promote it. He ended up having to, I'm not sure which one it was. Somebody can remind me in chat because you probably know. But he ended up cutting the stream off because it was just so fucking bad.
What game were we talking about now?
Assassin's Creed Unity.
Oh, yeah.
There's a post out today saying that the company has been working on a backstory for the game to use for the next 10 to 20 years.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Now the story's always taken place in the past, but there's been the occasional foray into closer to the present. What they want to do now is basically they're going into a big reuse of assets within the game because it will help speed up the development. But they want to do more, bring the game more and more closer to present day, even more so than they are. Because I think what was in one of them where he's modern day, but they're in this cave with this magical thing that transports him back into the soul or body of what the hell's the character's name? I don't know. But they had they said this about the fact in regards to Unity, and we'll sort of discuss the whole thing. The thing with Unity was that it was a completely fresh game on a completely fresh generation. So creating any kind of modern day was a pretty huge ask. To create a city, for instance, or even a part of the city would require 6 months of work by many, many artists, designers, modelers, and then you'd need a gameplay system that didn't feel like you were just fencing. McDevitt said that his team has come up with 500, 600, 700 years worth of history that they want to tease out over the next couple decades, or for however long the Assassin's Creed franchise is around. So, anybody that thought that maybe the disaster that was Unity signals the possible end of the franchise, think again. Now, what was your impression of Unity? Like, did you play it at all, Raw?
Yep, I have it on my computer.
What did you think?
45 minutes.
And that's it?
Yep.
Damn.
That bad? Like, what was...
I was hyped. I loved the other games. And after 45 minutes, my final verdict was, oh, not this again. I didn't feel any news to it. It felt like just, right, let's milk this great idea that we had some more. It was the same, things you had to do, and it was just new environment and slightly different story. That's yeah.
I think they're going to absolutely end up killing this franchise.
And I agree 100% with Axathor that says Unity is a huge step backward from Black Flag. I loved Black Flag. It was amazing, having your own ship sailing around, your different islands. I mean, that felt like a real world you would play in. And going from Black Flag to Unity is basically throwing you in a one-person cell. I mean, I felt cramped.
I've never been an Assassin's Creed player. I know my grandson just absolutely loves playing it on the Xbox. He is a big, avid fan of Assassin's Creed. So I got to see him play it quite a bit whenever he came over to visit, and because that's one of the reasons why I decided on getting the Xbox. It was for both for my wife when she was here, and for him. And I got to tell you, from watching him play, he played the one before Assassin's Creed Unity. What was the one before that? That was Black Flag?
Black Flag?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one before that was Brotherhood?
Believe so, yeah.
I think so.
Okay, well, he played Brotherhood and Black Flag, because I ended up getting both of them for him. I wasn't impressed. Now, maybe it's because it's not my type of game and I've never played it, but I wasn't overly impressed with the game. And I'm still trying to figure out, how it got the game cred that it did. Maybe it was because... Go ahead.
For Black Flag, I mean, it might sound simple, but one of the things I really enjoyed was the sea shanties. Sailing your boat around, listening to the different sea shanties it was an epic feeling. I mean, I think they put graphics, gameplay, soundtrack together really well to give you that combined experience. Of course, if you've only watched your nephew play it and you haven't really gotten into the whole mood of the game, I mean, looking at it when somebody else plays it, I can understand that you wouldn't really get the same feeling. But when you're in there, when you have your own ship and you sail around, I mean, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. I think both you and I and maybe as a player, we kind of like early access to a point because we get some awful good games out of it. You've got Don't Starve. You've got The Long Dark. You've got Folk Tales. We've gotten some, and what Binding of Isaac, I believe, was also early access. Space Engineers. So we've gotten some really good games out of early access. It's unfortunate that the whole program gets tarnished with things like the Stomping Lands, and even by default, Star Citizen, even though it's not early access, it still has that aspect to it. Eurogamer put together a list of early access games that they say are done right. So I thought maybe we would just go through the list and pick a few and tell what they are if we haven't already played them or talked about them, and kind of gauge what our opinions are. From Clay Game Software, who did Don't Starve, they have Invisible Ink, where they say you need precision and you need a keen strategy to be a spy. At least you need that to be the kind of spy you get to in the movies. Clay seems entirely up for the job, taking the deliriously wonderful premise of a turn-based espionage game and delivering it via regular updates, 2 a month, generally alternating between small and big patches, so you're never far away from getting something special. Invisible Ink is currently building to its climatic patches, which will deliver a proper story arc and a suitable final mission. Along the way, though, we've already got new enemies, new playable agents, and loads of balance changes. Tellingly, Clay's done this kind of development before with the gloriously cruel Don't Starve. Yes. Don't Starve also back in early access, incidentally, with a new multiplayer build that will become free to existing owners upon completion. Clay's been streaming a lot of the dev work going on in Invisible Ink, and it looks interesting. It's definitely a Clay game, by the style of the graphics and so on and so forth. Have either of you seen this game so far?
Nope.
No?
No, not
First time hearing about it.
Yeah. If you like Don't Starve, chances are you probably will like Invisible Ink, even though it's within a different genre, but it's a Clay game. The art style is very, very nice. Clay seems to have that talent. They just have that talent for pulling off the right graphics for the right type of game that they're creating. Next up was Nuclear Throne. Either of you familiar with this one at all?
This is actually on my wish list.
Really? Okay.
It is, yeah.
Few games capture all that is great about early access development quite as well as Nuclear Throne. Thanks for following, Marshmallow Farmer. I love that. I love that. A great name. Vlambier's fidgety tribute to gore and camera shake and crossbow bolts through the head. This is an action roguelike and a perfect candidate for a game that will get better as more pieces get added, and the developers turned regular updates into something that approaches an appointment television, with live streams and lots of chatter between designers and players. Best of all, Vlambier's using the approach to take real risks with experimental character classes that turn the rules on their head. It's like watching a gumbo bumbling away on the stove. It's a Van Bleer shooter, and it's amazing. So, you've... just a second while I get rid of this. See if that'll take it away. Okay, Haas, you've had a chance to... Like you say, this is on your wish list, right? Or you've been watching it?
Yeah, it was recommended for me, and I kind of read about it. I watched like the and there's a little video for it, and I was like, all right, this looks pretty cool, but I don't know enough about it to be able to purchase it. This is one of the things that I planned on looking into but haven't, because I like to watch games being played. I don't know that anybody's streaming. I mean, it's very rare. It's like a one-off. Like, you might find like 3 people watching somebody stream a game like this, if it ever. Whoa. If it ever happens. Sorry, I just saw our screen just flash out. I think that's what you were just talking about. So yeah, I haven't purchased it yet. I've just kept it in my wish list, kind of hoping that I'd hear more about it.
To me, it looks a lot like Omerta.
That name sounds familiar.
City of that Mafia game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That came free with like tropical. Well, I mean, you can probably get it on its own, but I think I got it for free.
I think I bought it actually. Omerta City of Gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very much like Invisible Ink, where you have this turn-based strategy game. You move your characters and do something, and then the enemy can do something, and back and forth.
Yes,
I actually had quite a lot of fun with Omerta, so I might get Invisible Ink.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is Armello. Name ring a bell with anybody?
No, but it looks like it's a Disney movie.
It does, doesn't it? Actually, I will throw the link in chat so you guys can sort of keep up with what we're talking about and make your own decisions as well. There's the link. Okay, Armello. League of Geeks hasn't had its original digital board game up on early access for very long, but it's already delivered one fairly expansive update, overhauling various player systems and tinkering with the AI. It's a digital board game. Promisingly, there is more stuff on the way too, including a new playable character and an added sense of clarity to the mid game. Armello is already beautiful with delicate art and wonderful writing. What's really making it stand out on early access, though, is that the mechanics-driven game like this lend themselves perfectly to I can't even pronounce that word right now. Iterative design. An injection of new cards or a tweak to the AI behavior can radically change the entire flow of the game. A small amount of work can make a big difference. So this is a digital board game.
I just pulled it up on YouTube. It looks stunning.
Really?
It looks like, even though for example, the turn-based civilization games and stuff like that. I mean, the overlay when you look at it from top looks a little bit like that. You have these squares different squares. One square has mountains, one has trees on it, another one has a castle, something like that. Normally, I'm not a big fan of that, but this looks quite interesting.
Like I figure if you're gonna play a board game, you haul out Risk and you play a board game. That to me is a board game. That's a small social gathering. You have some fun, you have a few beers, and you take over the world. That's a board game.
I play Risk Online.
Well, yeah, you can do that too. Actually, one of the first when I first started watching Twitch, and I used to go through the directory a lot. I actually found someone playing the multiplayer Risk game, and it was actually looked like it was a lot of fucking fun. I was surprised as hell how much fun it looked like. So I may actually have to drag that out. Anyway, up next is Broforce. Ring any bells? Nope. Okay, Broforce is an insanely destructive side-scrolling shooter in which players can chip away at the scenery as well as their enemies. Better yet, it is in love with action cinema of the 1980s and 1990s, which means that every new update brings you another chunk of your wasted childhood. There are already plenty of playable characters ranging from a handful of different Van Dams and Arnies, and the campaign's been coming together alongside a level editor and a handful of tile sets. The latest update brought in aliens, however, adding a twist of genuine body horror to an otherwise knockout world and revealing in the space of one patch, while watching a game build itself in front of its audience can be surprisingly thrilling.
The name amuses me greatly.
Oh, yes.
Like Broforce, I just think of a bunch of douchebags with pink popped-up collared shirts running around punching shit. But this is obviously a little different.
Well, the idea that they're taking action characters from, the 80s and the 90s and putting them into a situation like this is kind of fun. There's no getting around that. But, now, Prison Architect is on this list, and I know we've got a lot of fans of the game in chat. I don't know about either of you, but I know a couple of our co-hosts like playing the game. Prison Architect's early access status seems almost hard-coded into Intervision's game, which has been playable in various states since September 2012. It's almost part of the game's charm, seeing its systems cobbled together around you as you try and construct your own penal colonies. Regular monthly updates have seen Prison Architect go from shabby curiosity to something truly engaging, a worthy successor to the likes of Dungeon Keeper that's got a malicious sense of humor that's all its own. What's more, early access seems like an absolutely perfect fit for both Introvision, a developer with a big heart and even bigger ideas, and for the players of its offbeat creations. Either of you two play Prison Architect at all?
I have seen somebody stream it. I have never played it.
I own it, but have never played it. Somebody bought it for me because I like city building and things like that, and they thought that I would get into this. I don't like the intricate, having to, this is why I don't play Banish, which Roddy you're really good at because you've been streaming it. At least this past week you've done it a couple times. You even just mentioned that, but I've seen you on stream doing it. I don't like having, what's the word I want? I'm fucking tired and I can't think of it. Not the
top down.
No, having to control every little thing. There's
micromanagement.
Thank you. I'm like, there's an intelligent adult word for this that I can't think of. I'm not into that as much. I don't want to have to turn around and be like, let's do this, and then we have to do this, and then we have to do this, and make sure everybody's I want to be able to say, okay, this is what I want to happen, boom, 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 all right, let's get this happening, rather than having to micromanage, and that's just not, it doesn't interest me. It's like too much work. So I have never played it. I've watched it. I own it. I've just never.
I'm like you, Haas. This game doesn't interest me. And it's not because of the micromanaging, it's the art style. I just don't like the art style. And I'm not sure I would like the play style either from what I've seen of it being streamed. It's just not my type of game. But I know that there are an awful lot of really passionate prison architects out there. They just absolutely love this game. Another one which we've all seen recently has just exploded all over the place, and I know Dizzy's been playing it like mad, is Darkest Dungeon. They say sometimes early access isn't just about the updates and the low price point. It's about giving a small development team the freedom to do something that most publishers would probably choke on. And sometimes that something turns out to be fantastically successful despite the strange pitch. Enter Darkest Dungeon, a procedural hack and slash in which the focus is on monitoring the shaky mental state of your party. There isn't quite enough richness to the system to allow for true emergent chaos yet, but this is already a fascinating project and an RPG that ventures deeper beneath the skin of almost any other. Now, I will say, I love seeing it being streamed. I love seeing it being played. But it's not my type of game I want to play.
I'm on your page. I mean, I have the game, tried the game, and I suck at it. My people go insane all the time. I just can't control them. So I have decided that I'll just watch people play the game.
It is enjoyable as hell to watch. It's one of those games you will never have to play, and you can watch people and enjoy yourself. It's on my wish list, but I'm with you guys kind of on that one.
Up next is now this one I have a really okay, Besieged. you've got to have heard of this one because it's been all over the place. Besieged is it's a different game altogether as far as I'm concerned. But they say early access games have a reputation for delivering builds that combine lavish ambition with dozens of missing features. Besieged is interesting because it's the exact opposite. The medieval construction game is fiercely polished stuff, right down to the stylish UI. And thank you very much, Shadow, for the donation, dude. Love that. Right down to the stylish UI and the hilariously brutal physics. There just isn't much to it yet. Hence the £4.99 or whatever it would be called. What there is suggests that we are in for a treat, though, as you construct your own siege towers and then pit them against a range of knockabout challenges, many of which include sheep that are just itching to be set ablaze. Even if you spare the flock, you're likely to do yourself in and have a wonderful time doing it. Now, what I've also seen is a flood of GIFs of some of these besieging engines that have been created that are absolutely fucking hilarious. With what people's minds come up with, it's just amazing, just fucking amazing. But
the whole world got crazy.
Thanks for following, Pimp that Skittle. What do you guys think of the game?
I haven't tried it. I've seen footage of it, and it seems interesting. I think what have kept me away from it is probably that when I build something, I don't want it to get destroyed. Kind of. I don't know. I have just like a gut feeling that it's not my type of game.
Yeah, same here.
I've never heard of it.
But
like,
it's sort of been bubbling along in the back channels of indie games. Those that play it really like it, but it hasn't gotten a wide audience. And I think part of the problem is that if you look at a lot of the images that are out there for the game, its art style is very, very different. The graphics are good, but this combination of plain white space with terrain and buildings interspersed around it on like little islands is, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that as far as the game interface. I'm really not. I admire them for doing it. It's an interesting way to do a game, but I'm not sure if it will pull the audience in the long run. Like, I definitely don't see this as being a streamable game. I don't anyway. I could be wrong. What about you, Rob? Because I know you're always looking at new games like this to stream. As a streamer, what would your reaction to this be? Was this something you would want to stream, or is it just not really sure?
Not really sure. Then again, on an earlier show here, we talked about, was it Elite Dangerous? Where I said, I probably wouldn't stream that because who would want to see me fly for 15 minutes in a spaceship from one destination to another, where this guy came in and said, he streams the game with huge success.
Yep.
I mean, some games works for some streamers. I'm not the type of streamer that constantly blab and just talk. So if there's not really content in the game that gives me something to talk about, I'm not just going to sit there and talk about my personal life or how what color the sky is.
Or the dress.
Or that.
I'm sorry, I could not resist. I could not resist.
I went everybody starts talking about it in our TeamSpeak. I go, what the fuck? And I open Facebook and there it is. Like, I couldn't even miss it. I don't know I didn't even click on a link. What color is dress to you guys? I don't even fucking know.
All right. Moving on. Infinifactory. Anybody heard? Either of you heard of this one? I have neither. Not even a whisper. Zachtronics' 3D follow-up to Space Chem is clever. Not only in the way that it uses a handcrafted promise of 3D printing to construct a range of ingenious get A to point B puzzles that encourage tinkering and playfulness as much as straight up logic, but in the way that it is using early access. Infinifactory is superficially, now this is kind of weird, superficially polished, and it's also positively hectic with content. At the end of each level, though, you are invited to fill in a very short survey saying that you've made, saying what you have made of the challenge you just completed. Crowdsourced opinions are the very kind of thing that games like Infinifactory tend to parody in their post-Portal storylines. Ironically, people power is also helping to make the final product smarter and more of a more human strain of puzzler. Superficially polished?
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I hate terms like this. I really do. Like that's like marketing speak that gives me like just a shiver up my back and an itch I can't fucking scratch.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Okay, we'll move on. Skip it. Subnautica. Ring any bells? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have it.
You have it? All right.
Yes.
What does it take to bring new life to the oversubscribed survival genre? Water, and lots of it. Subnautica drops you into a gorgeous marine landscape of reefs and reeds and lurking horrors that can't wait to put a spiny stalk through your sternum. And while the basics of crafting and exploring are already in place, there's a real sense that the finer detailing of the game is yet to be nailed down. The next few months will tell us is Subnautica can do its wonderful premise justice, but smart player-centric elements such as the option to toggle starvation on or off suggest that the developer's on the right track. Now you've got it raw. If you played it, what?
Played it, streamed it.
You love it?
So disappointed.
Really?
I don't even know why that's on a list of that early access games done right, because the content in the game is missing. I mean, what you do is you have a limited amount of time that you can go out and collect resources because you run out of air, obviously. Then you swim back with the resources, you go out for some more resources, you swim back. The crafting is very limited. You can make some basic stuff, and that was it. I was sitting on stream, I was like, okay, I've now made everything that I can make. What else? So I tried swimming towards that big thing you see in the back there, and as soon as I got close, I was about to die from radiation, but how would I prevent radiation? Because there was no, radiation suits or stuff like that. So I was disappointed. I felt like it was a lot of work to get nowhere. But, they might add new content to the game that, make me fall in love with it at some point. I mean, I haven't given up on the game. I love the idea, but they need to...
It reminds me of Waterworld, and that was a flop, too.
Hey, I liked that movie.
Actually, you want to know something? Secret? So did I. I liked it, too.
That's actually a lot of people's guilty
Confirm.
pleasure.
Yes. Yeah. Dungeon... The last one on the list. Dungeon of the Endless. Ring any bells?
I believe, and I might correct me, Karita, because she just said this is her favorite game, but I believe she has streamed this game.
Yes.
And the only reason it even looks familiar is because when she got raided with a shit ton of people, there is a clip of it, and I believe she was playing this game, but I could be wrong, and that's how I've seen it.
Karita, put your Twitch link in chat so people can hop by there and maybe check out a few of the highlights and give you a follow. She's a really good starting streamer, so check her out, folks. Anyway, Amplitude Studios is making early access games before Valve even had a tab on Steam to host them. And that experience shows. Following up Endless Legends, a game that steadily rose from some confusing if beautiful foundations to tower above most of the 4X landscape, Dungeons of the Endless is a daring genre mashup that sees you exploring procedurally generated cave networks while building towering defense-style turrets and humping a crystal about. Throw in elegant pixel art, which absolutely refuses to orbit the same boring old 16-bit influences, and a development team that knows exactly what kind of input to solicit from its audience, and you have a strange and darksome treat. Now, like you said, Karida's played this and she streamed it. Maybe next time she's on, we'll do a brief stroll back to this and get her impressions of it. But neither of you've seen it or played it, or so basically it's move on. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to a 5-minute break. If you like what you've seen, if you enjoy the conversation, and also before I forget, thank you Phoenix Pixel for the follow as well. If you like it, if you like the show so far, and you want to give some, a little bit of a pat in the back and encouragement, hit that old follow button down there and say thank you for a great show. But in the meantime, we will be back in 5.
Live long and prosper.
Is there a more famous TV gesture than the Vulcan salute? Leonard Nimoy, who popularized the gesture in his role as Mr. Spock on the 60s TV series Star Trek, both lived long and prospered, before dying at the age of 83. In an age where the word is overused, the half-man, half-alien was truly an iconic character. Pointy ears, upturned eyebrows, bowl haircut, maddeningly logical, frustratingly dispassionate.
You'd make a splendid computer, Mr. Spock.
That is very kind of you, Captain.
Star Trek was canceled after 3 seasons, shocking for how famous it's become, and Nimoy went on to star in the show Mission Impossible and hosted In Search Of, a series that investigated mysteries and paranormal phenomena.
It was here that the modern quest would begin for the tomb of Tutankhamun.
He also had a memorable role as a psychiatrist in the 1978 remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The following year, he and his fellow Star Trek crew would go on to star in the first of 6 feature films based on the series, 2 of which Nimoy directed. Anyone who's ever been defined by a single accomplishment can understand why Nimoy was at points ambivalent about his legacy. This was a man who wrote 2 autobiographies and cheekily titled them, I Am Not Spock, and I Am Spock. But Nimoy truly embraced the role, turning in many cameos that traded on his character.
Hello, I'm Leonard Nimoy. The following tale of alien encounters is true, and by true, I mean false.
He appeared in both the Star Trek reboot and its sequel, and happily attended fan convention after fan convention.
James T. Kirk.
To paraphrase one of the franchise's most famous, and come on, moving scenes, Leonard Nimoy was, and always will be, Mr. Spock.
Live long and prosper.
Hello, I'm NASA astronaut Mike Fink.
And I'm European Space Agency astronaut Luca Parmitano.
We were very saddened to hear of the passing of the actor Leonard Nimoy. Leonard's character, Mr. Spock, inspired generations of NASA scientists and engineers, as well as engineers, scientists, and Star Trek fans across the planet. And as we at NASA, along with our international partners, explore the moon, Mars, and beyond, we'll take the spirit of and energy that Leonard brought to his character, Mr. Spock, along with us. Live long and prosper.
The message of Star Trek is one of cooperation and integration. Mr. Spock, a Vulcanian from a different planet, was fully integrated in his crew of humans and non-humans. We at the European Space Agency believe in that message, and working with our international partners, we will take that message with us as we go beyond to explore space for humanity and for our planet.
whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
And we're back, just while we wait for Raw D to get back from getting his mother's lemonade. Probably.
You know what's great about that, though? I'm looking at his camera while we were on break, and all I see is the window and these two little fucking cat ears. Just kind of. That's all you can see were the ears. Yeah. It was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Cute.
That little intermission bit I put together after I found out about Mr. Nimoy, our favorite Vulcan, because I wanted to give some kind of tribute to the man. The first part of the video was done by the New York Times, as far as I guess part of their digital obituary notice type thing, and the second part was through NASA and ESA, two of their astronauts from I think the space station missions, sort of giving their thoughts on. It's, man, such a part of our geek heritage, man. Like, he's just an icon. He will never be. Now, you were showing, or did you want to wait until? Yes. Yeah, okay, all right. We'll wait.
It doesn't matter, because Roddy might be like drinking or pooping or something.
Yeah.
I am a Star Wars fan, not a Star Trek fan. However, anybody who might not be a Star Trek fan, this movie, this is the fourth Star Trek movie that came out, is probably one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my life. Like Kirk and his wait a minute. It's the 23rd century and a mysterious alien power is threatening Earth by evaporating the oceans and destroying the atmosphere. In a frantic attempt to save mankind, Kirk and his crew must travel back to 1986 San Francisco, where they find a world of punk, pizza, and exact change buses. Spock in this movie in 1986 San Francisco is brilliant. So I actually got this used. It was like $4. So I don't know if you happen to come across it. Definitely worth the buy. And that's my cheap 2 cents.
Thanks, Lizzie Rue, for the follow. I really appreciate it. Got some more Mother's Lemonade?
No.
What is that? Is that
That
like
is
Yoo-Hoo in Denmark?
Tokyo
Yeah, it's Yoo-Hoo.
chocolate milk.
Really? Okay.
You drink milk out of a bag, and you're gonna make fun of his chocolate milk in a bottle?
I wasn't making fun. I wasn't making
Cranky,
fun.
I have to send you one of these one day.
You want to know, son?
This is the world's best chocolate milk.
I would probably never even want to open up. That would be such a cool thing to get. It really would. That would be awesome.
I'll send it to you then.
Almost as awesome as a certain pack of cigarettes.
I knew you were gonna do that. I'm looking at your address right now.
Dang.
The thing about early access and indies is we get some pretty unique ideas for games. One is surfaced. And we have an announcement trailer for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a brief description of it, or sort of a brief description, and then I will show you the trailer. What if Britain was instead populated by drug-chugging mima-likes locked in a permanent state of violent bliss? That is a really strange question, and yet Compulsion Games have seemingly decided to ask that in their new games, A Happy Few. And here we go with their announcement trailer.
Not creepy as fuck.
Wakey, wakey, everyone. It's another fabulous day in Wellington Wells. The weather is only slightly rainy with streaks of lovely sunshine. Everyone in Wellington Wells is doing exactly what he or she ought to. Smiling and laughing and taking their joy. What about you?
That's right. I'm talking to you. Are you doing what you should? Of course you are. After all, not a downer, are you? We know what to do about downers, don't we?
Now, some people have asked me what to do about the happy, excited throngs running through the street.
What you should do is...
Join the fun!
What the fuck? Just take my money. I'm ready.
Right? This is so very Big Brother / Clockwork Orange / The Purge type game, and it looks so fucking cool. I was excited when I saw this.
All right. We the Happy Few is a tale of a plucky bunch of moderately terrible people trying to escape from a lifetime of cheerful denial. Set in a drug-fueled, retro-futuristic city in an alternative 1960s England, you'll have to blend in with its other inhabitants who don't take kindly to people who don't abide by their not-so-normal rules. That's the plug line for the game. So, what do you guys think?
Take my money.
Take it. Cranky, is this the kind of game that you would ever play? Or would this be more of a watcher game for you? Because I know there are certain genres that you enjoy watching more than playing.
I would probably want to watch this in the beginning and then base my judgment on that.
This would be a great game to stream. Like, how entertaining this would be.
And I could think of two streamers right off the bat that could have a riot with this game. One is Raw D, okay, and the other one is Dizzy. I think he could have an absolutely fucking riot with this game.
Get back to work.
Yeah, and with his, with his off the wall humor, and he would just he go to town in this one.
Yeah.
And like if I was to base any judgment on the game, it would be by watching either of those, either Raw or Diz play the game, and then I would, depending on what my feeling was. But on the surface, I love it. Next to steampunk, that's probably one of the coolest, ideas I've seen come across, as far as a alternate reality type game that I've seen in some time. And I gotta tell you, those fucking people are creepy as hell. I mean, they're literally, they've got to be some of the creepiest looking people I've ever seen.
Is it released already?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. I don't think so, but this is one I'm going to keep an eye on, and I will let you guys know as I hear more about it. It's on my radar now, so we will probably be talking about it some more. But yeah, that is We Happy Few.
Well, it says here, too, the announcement trailers equal shades of BioShock and Doctor Who. Like, as soon as it started playing, I immediately thought of BioShock, to be honest.
Yes.
Like, absolutely. But it's still so different. Like, I don't know. I like the original idea. It's fresh to see something, like, cool and not like every other game you ever see. Like, I just enjoy that.
Hang on a second, Blue, and I'll write it in there for you. It's We the Happy Few. Minus E. Yeah, no, so that to me, it's looking really good. Now, I just got to queue up another one here. Just give me a second. One of my all-time favorite games, and it's one that sort of has disappeared, I guess, into the annals of video game history, has to be the Descent game from back in, I guess it would be the 80s. It was so fucking unique for its time. You basically were in a spacecraft and you were piloting it in a total XYZ 360 degree environment. Your enemies could come from above you, they could come from below you. You could literally spin in any direction that you wanted. It was a hard game, but it was an awesome game. And it was one that I always kind of hoped we would see reborn again, but in more modern times. Well, apparently, Sub-Zero is a game that promises Descent-like action in a roguelike world. Sub-Zero is a 6 degrees of freedom roguelike shooter in a procedurally generated levels, scarce resources, and permadeath. What I
used to play Descent on Windows 3.11.
Yes. Yes.
That's how old I am.
So what we'll do is we'll throw this up for you guys to have a look at, and you can go from there. Yes, this is so much like Descent.
It is.
Oh. Okay. This is going on my must-have list when it hits. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. And anybody that is a Descent fan, I can pretty well tell you right off the bat, will fall in love with this game. Am I pretty close to that, Raw?
It looks a lot like the original from 1989.
That'd be about it. That'd be late 80s. Because it was Doom, and I think Doom 2, Hexen, and then
NASCAR,
and then Descent came out around that time as well. It never got the popularity that Doom did, or the other ones of that generation, but it deserved to. So Sub-Level Zero is definitely looking a lot like that.
On a totally different note, do you know what I really miss?
What's that?
Tycoon games like back in the days, like Pizza Tycoon and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Why don't they make Tycoon games like that anymore?
And the original Railroad Tycoon, like
yes,
the original Railroad
Transport Tycoon
yes.
as well.
Not this new shit, but the like I remember playing Railroad Tycoon 1, and it was an awesome game. It was great fun.
I love how excitable you guys are about this. You should keep going. Keep going.
Well, no, it's just that a lot of those games, I find when they proceed through their various generations, they lose some of that. They lose something, and I don't know whether it's just because the people that are making it are newer to the franchise or what it is, but it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon. The original Roller Coaster Tycoon or the original Railroad Tycoon. There was just something about them that was fun. They were beautiful games, and you could lose yourself in them for hours.
Yeah.
Literally hours. And like you'd start playing it at after lunch, and next thing you know, it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and you just don't know where the time went. And it's hard to imagine that a game like that could pull you in so much, but they did. Like I know I lost hours and hours to Descent, just as I did to Doom and everything like that. But that's to be expected. But yeah. I agree with you, Ryan. It would be nice to see. It's like what they did with Zoo Tycoon. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, the newest one, they butchered it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I think butchered it in a lot of ways is they tried to make it a multiplayer social game. And I'm sorry, it's not. Like there are some, what do you think? Are there some games that just don't need to be multiplayer or don't need to be socialized at all?
Yes, there are many games.
Then why do they force that on it? Why can they not just be happy making a really fucking great game that single players can just enjoy?
Well, they want to get the most out of it. They want to make as much money as they can, so they're trying to hit the demographic of people who like to play with other people.
Thank you, Noah, for the follow. By the way, I didn't want to miss you. Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand the business aspect of it, but at some point, and maybe I'm a little idealistic here, or just stupid, but. What about the players? What about the gamers?
When did the game? Okay, no. What? No.
Go ahead.
I was just about to say, when did the game devs ever give a shit about the players?
I think to a certain degree in the beginning of their game development careers. They must,
Pokey Labs.
Until the paycheck.
Really? Am I that fucking idealistic here?
Which is really strange coming from you.
Why?
Because you're usually the one that's just like, all right, logic and fucking, you know.
No, like I said, I understand why it happens. Don't get me wrong, I do understand why it's the almighty dollar, and you know their shareholders, which should all just be shot. But that's just a different personal opinion. But I just think that there comes a point where game companies should care more about the gamers and the game, not the franchise or the shareholders. And if a game is meant to be a single player game, then let the fucking thing be a single player game.
You know what Folktale is doing? Single player game.
Exactly. And it's from what I understand on the discussion you had with Simon, they aren't even thinking of a multiplayer version.
Nope, not until after release. I mean, and it's not even certain that they'll do it. And that would actually be a game that would be really great as a multiplayer. But they're like, that was not in our original plan. That is not what we have thought for this game. So we're not doing it right away. We know that a lot of people are asking for it, but that is not the initial plan for the game. So, I mean, at least that's a company that, doesn't just do what everybody's telling them to do and do their own thing.
From the conversation you had with Simon today, and from some of their streams that I've watched, and from, some of the stuff I've read, that company does seem to give a shit about the gamer.
Definitely.
Okay? But why does something tell me that they're one of the rare ones out there? Now, I think the indie developers are more inclined to think that way, right?
Yeah.
Because,
they don't have shareholders.
Yeah, who are demanding more and more money each. You've got to meet Wall Street expectations. Fuck you, Wall Street. Okay. The indies seem to be more concerned with actually making good fucking games that people can enjoy, and the majority of times they aren't being pressured into making a game something that it wasn't designed to be. Even Don't Starve, to a certain point, I can see why they went multiplayer, and it's kind of cool. But to be honest, I wish they would have continued with Don't Starve, Reign of Giants, and more content for the single player. Now, you may not agree with me there, Roddy.
I really like Don't Starve Together. I think that game works so well as a multiplayer, helping each other survive. It's one of those few games that I would say works equally good as single player as it does as multiplayer.
Yeah, it's one of the few, really.
Yeah.
Take for example SimCity. SimCity 2013 or 2014, whatever the fuck it was called, was designed to be a multiplayer online game. And I'm sorry. Going that route was mistake number one.
It was a single player with multiplayer features. I was so freaking disappointed in that game.
SimCity is not a multiplayer game. I'm sorry. It's not. SimCity is a single player game. And most city builders are.
No, all right. Why do you say that?
You have why do you say it? Because you have the multiplayer aspect where you can have a neighboring city be played by your friend.
And how's that worked out so far?
Like crap.
See what I mean?
What's wrong with it? What is so wrong with it?
All right. The reason why I'm being mean to SimCity 2013 is because of all the bullshit they put out in the game. That game they made the biggest hype bubble ever. And when the game came out, they just went poof.
Fuck the hype. Now, I understand that. I learned that later. After
Why would you release a video where you display that two cities are working together on building a nuclear power plant in between? You have the red square, you have the blue square, symbolizing two different players, each working together, building that nuclear power plant. The game comes out, you can have this square, you can have that square, and you can send people to each other's towns, and you can exchange goods. But that's it. I mean, it's the game I've been the most... I was really looking forward to that game, and they just, screwed me over. They took my money and they would, we might have made a video that displays some really cool stuff, but that's not in the game.
That wasn't necessary. There's a whole lot of shit behind that whole video.
Okay, then talk to us, Haas, because I know you are a SimCity fan.
I don't know all of the deets on that. Like I said, I bought the game post all the bullshit. I never saw the promo video. I didn't get caught up in all of that, so I fell in love with the game aside from all of that. I didn't expect anything from it, and maybe that's why I have a different opinion on it. I liked playing multiplayer because I had never played a SimCity game before. Like, I had somebody there coming to my city being like, well, you know what, you could probably do X, Y, and Z. Your shit's fucked up. Your roads suck. Fix it. And that's how I learned how to play. You can work together. You do great work. So you're talking about power and this and that, building a nuclear power plant or whatever. Like, that's where the great works come in as like a multiplayer thing. Because let me tell you, you try to do an arcology by yourself, it's going to cost you about $30 million. I've done it by myself. There you go. Boom. That video, and I don't know all the fucking details, so I'm going to sound like an idiot, which is fine. Wasn't it put out by like just the PR department and the developers, and they just put out their own fucking video, and they were like, here, this is what we're going to do. And these people are like, what the fuck are you doing? This isn't part of the game. So it was kind of like this clash where it was like, well, now these guys get fucked because these guys are saying, hey, this is what the game looks like. And they're like, well, no, it's not. And where did you, like, what right do you have to put this shit out? So therefore, their launch was absolutely fucking shit. I love multiplayer. You're still going to get the same size cities in single player. I mean, like, the game would have been the same, but being able to play it with other people and learn how to play and fucking work, like, I love it. I like multiplayer. The fact that they're probably going to stray away from that kind of makes me sad. I go to streams and some people who are a little bit smaller were like, come on, join my my region. And there you go. You're in there. You're watching somebody stream in the background. You got SimCity in front of you. They come in. They might throw some advice at you. You get some airtime if that's your thing. Like, it's kind of cool.
Two words. Cities, skylines.
I've got it, and I'm excited.
I pre-ordered it as well.
That's
not going for multiplayer. That's going to be single player. Now that
I've never played a City Skylines though.
This is the first one.
Like, I'm afraid I'm going to compare it to SimCity.
Everybody,
what am I thinking of? Cities XL?
Yeah. Everybody, any city builder player out there is going to compare the two. They're going to compare City Skyline with SimCity no matter what. That is inevitable. And I think that might hurt City Skylines.
I don't think it will.
You don't think so?
No. Watching all the dev videos, watching all the reviews, watching everything, Cities Skylines are going to kick SimCity's ass big time.
Well, I feel like City Skylines saw what happened with SimCity and was like, we're not fucking doing that. We are going to do this right. Like, I feel like that's happening.
They have taken every freaking error that SimCity has made and said, let's do this right.
Fucking brilliant, because SimCity is still a huge fucking game.
They are going to steal so many market shares from SimCity.
Thank you, Prince, for the follow, dude. Love it. Thank you, Angie Noob. I didn't mean to miss you. Thank you for the follow.
The whole world gone crazy! Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
I really want, I want City Skylines. And I know come Tuesday, if you are, and I'm doing this as a blurb for a friend of mine, if you want to watch City Skylines being streamed by a City Builder player who made his stream on SimCity, make sure next Tuesday at 7 p.m. you log into Dizzy Disaster's channel. Cass, can you drop his link into chat for me? He has got he's got an advanced copy. He's going to be streaming it on Tuesday, and he's going to be the person.
You mean Tuesday the 10th, right? When it's released?
No.
Because Tuesday, the next coming Tuesday is the 3rd.
Yes.
He got it.
He got it. He got an advanced copy.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome.
He's got it. He's among a small group of streamers that have gotten an advanced copy. So you're going to see before the game actually goes live whether or not City Skylines is going to be for you. So hook that link, folks, if you want to be able to. And also, his Twitter is @DisasterDizzy. Someone just throw that in there. Karido or Red Midge, can you throw his Twitter in there as well so people can follow it? So you can keep up to date, because he will be streaming it, and I'm going to be there watching every single minute of it and hoping I got enough money in my PayPal to pick up a copy of it, because I do want to play it. You got to work?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Somebody asked me what was in my cup.
Starbucks. What do you expect? She runs the joint. It's all her. It's all her. Okay. What is it we've got next? Capcom has released a new trailer teasing what is to come in the second episode of Resident Evil Revelations 2. And we have it here for you to, have a look at. Let us know, what do you think? It's only 41 seconds. It's not very fucking long, so pay attention. You don't want to miss it.
Next time on Revelations 2.
Moira was trying to get to that tower when I was with her.
I need you to take me there. Can you do that?
But if we've been infected with something...
I promise I'll catch up.
Is this the place? The Wasted?
Don't be scared.
So, you finally came, huh?
We are off this motherfucking island!
And that's 41 seconds of basic bullshit. Isn't that fun? God, you know what
the fuck did I just watch?
You watched a teaser trailer for Revelations 2, Episode 2, coming your way soon. Aren't you thrilled? No. Me neither. You know what?
Yeah.
I've got a bitch, okay? I've got a big fucking bitch when it comes to game trailers, movie trailers, and television trailers, the whole fucking trailer bullshit. And it's these stupid ass teaser trailers for a trailer. Okay? You get anywhere from 15 to 40 seconds of basically pointless bullshit that you can't get anything out of to make sure that you watch the full 1.5 minute trailer that might be coming in a week and a half. You know what you can do with those teaser trailers? Shove them so far up your ass that they can see the sun coming in your mouth.
No lube.
Am I off the wall on this one, folks? Like, come on. I can't be the only one that hates this bullshit. Am I?
I don't know that I feel as passionately about it as you do, though. That was pretty intense. I'm a little scared.
Well, you've got to understand. For like, I write for geekdimensions.com, cranky.com, crankygamers.com, And I talk about this on the Geek Dimension podcast. I talk about TV shows. I talk about movies. And here I talk about gaming. And part of that is seeing a shitload of trailers on any given day. Like, what we've shown tonight is only a portion of what I've seen today. Okay? I try and pull in the ones that are worth seeing as far as the story that we can talk about.
Why did you show us this crap then?
Because I thought it would be better than it was. Okay? I got suckers.
Apology not accepted.
Fuck you too. So, but through all this, I get stuck watching a lot of this kind of stuff. And it irritates me. Because there's no need for it. Either put out a full trailer or don't fucking bother at all. Because you're wasting bandwidth, you're wasting my fucking time, and it's not doing anything. Anyway, enough of that shit. Crowfall. We've been talking about this for a while, or 2 or 3 or 4 days. They met their funding on Kickstarter. So it is a go. We are going to have a Crowfall. The Kickstarter will be open until the 26th of March, I think, so you can still get in on it. I know I'm going to try as soon as I can, if I can, to get in on it because I want this game.
All right, tell me about this game because I have not been around, so I'd like to know about it then.
Okay, Crowfall is a MMO, but with a really unique kind of twist to it. All right? You've got your PvE, you've got your crafting, you've got your RPG type aspect to it. But when it comes to the PvP, okay? You know how in things like Worlds of Warcraft and all the other ones, they have these battles, but they seem to go on forever. Like they never end. Or they end, but your world keeps on going the same way it is, and you fought your battles, and there's no, In Crowfall, what they're doing, when it comes to PvE, there are going to be campaign maps, parts of the world. These campaign maps are going to be destructible, voxel-based, so things can actually be destroyed. And when the battle is over and the victor is actually declared, you pull your troops out of the map and that map's gone. That part of the world is gone. And it's replaced by a new one. And you have a new campaign. The other thing they are doing is that there is almost a real life cycle for the world around you. You can literally plant trees, watch them grow, and then watch them die. So there is an actual life cycle within your world. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of different things as far as an MMO is concerned, and I know he's lining up to crown. He's going for one of the bigger packages as far as the Kickstarters for it is concerned. I'm going to try and manage one of the smaller ones if I can. But yeah, I am so glad that they got their funding. It looks like it's going to be one kick-ass of a game, and it is one that we will probably be talking about again on here as we go and watch Raw D fall asleep.
So sorry.
No, it's okay. I know, look, dude, you don't know how much I appreciate you getting up as early as you did to come and do this show, man. And you do it every time you show up. And I'm absolutely amazed. And
I love the fact we watched the sunrise behind him.
Yes.
Like it's full yes. Light out behind him now.
I think it's awesome. But on that note, I think we should, we're what, like almost just over 2 hours in, man. We I think we're going to have to pull this.
We have fun.
Yes, we did. So we're going to call this episode to a close, folks. I want to thank the beautiful Hasselhoff for joining us. You're awesome as always, dear lady. And to Mr. Raw D at Raw D Gaming on Twitter. You are Hassel_Hoft on Twitter. You can catch Raw D on Twitch. Throw your link in the chat there, Raw D. So people...
No, because it will just ban me.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. I actually got to move you up to a regular.
Don't get me with that one again. I did it early in the stream. And
I will actually I will move you up to regular status so you can get by that in future.
Right.
So yeah, thank you both very much. If you folks out there who have been listening to the show tonight have enjoyed what we've been doing, hit the old follow button that's down there. You can follow me on Twitter. I am the Cranky Canuck. I always tweet out before the show. I generally try and put out headlines of what we might be talking about during the day, so that way you can keep up to what we're going to be doing. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and remember, folks, one very simple rule of life: game on.